I actually had an opportunity to sit down with some parents whose children have been enrolled in your program, and they talked about their experience with their kids and really are so grateful for what you have done for their children. So I want to leave you with some testimonials from parents who have personally had their children in Julie's program.
When my oldest son Lucas was in first grade, we had one of the parent-teacher conferences, and it turned out he was doing quite poorly in reading, and I was stunned. I thought, well, I'm a psychologist, I know about how kids read, I worked on a project, but I think when it's your own kid, you just don't see things as clearly. And I tried to do more, tried to do 20 minutes a day, talk to the teachers about strategies, and we were going nowhere, and Lucas was ending up in tears most nights, and I felt terrible. So I was commiserating with my friend and colleague Matt Barr down the hall, and he said, you've got to try this Think Smart Tutoring.
When my oldest son was in second grade, he was a year behind in reading. I brought him to Julie at Think Smart Tutoring, and within 6 months, he had gone from a grade level behind to grade level, and by the end of the school year, he was a grade level ahead.
So the data is very clear that your child has to be solid in terms of reading in order to be successful in academics, which means you're going to be successfully middle class, successfully higher than that. You won't get there if you can't read. And there are maybe some options now for audio materials for people, but if there's an intervention you can hit early enough so your child not only has that ability but has that confidence to approach unknown texts, I think that you can't do any more as a parent to support your child's future success than support them in reading.
What's the cliche? Reading is fundamental, right? I hate cliches, but reading is fundamental. But for a child, it opens up a whole new world.
Lucas went from being virtually impaired as far as reading goes. So in Spokane we have you earn a 1, which is the poorest grade you can receive, to a 4, and he went from a 1 in second grade to a 3 at the end of second grade to a 4 in third grade.
My oldest child actually, soon after working with Julie, started becoming a daily newspaper reader. Now, it's an odd thing to have a third or a fourth grader reading the newspaper every morning. He didn't ask for a pipe and slippers, but, right. But once I showed him how it worked, story continues on, A8 or C1 to C3, he reads the paper every day now as an 8th grader. He's up on current events, he's reading national news, he's reading local news, he's reading articles on science and technology, he reads opinion pages.
He went from being a kid who avoided print material at all costs, I think because he just felt bad, it seemed like a big sort of standard of failure for him, to a kid who I was like, okay, you have to turn your lights off now because we're done reading.
I think it works for 2 reasons. One is that you have a very committed, trained professional with a very good program and a curriculum who's devoted to working individually with children. The other part of it, though, is the energy and enthusiasm that she brings. I mean, the expectation for hard work is there, but it's fun, it's challenging. Her enthusiasm really rubs off on kids, even when they're having a down day.
If kids don't have a solid foundation there, they're at a disadvantage, and that gap gets bigger every single year, right? And it's not that these kids will fail in life, it's just that the opportunities they have are going to be far, far fewer than the ones they would have had if they had a strong reading foundation.
The value for me is having them be able to be independent readers and independent learners. I mean, because it empowers them. And so what's the price of empowering a child? I don't know. You can't put a price on that. Maybe it's hundreds, maybe it's thousands. But for me, it's empowering the child. And that's what Julie has helped us do, is empower them to be readers.